But I've got to figure out, like, how'd you get to this path of getting a demo of the Blue on a campus to spending crazy astronomical amounts of money on the most awesome VR setups? Like, how did you progress from X to Y?
So that, I think they wrote the article. That was over like 5 years. That's the amount I spent this entire time. I didn't just like drop it all at once. I've just been building up my setup for years and years. Like any kind of disposable income, I would just put it back into VR. And I've stuck with, I'm using a Vive Pro I now. I haven't tried the Index at all just because I went wireless when my third HTC cord broke, and I just can't really go back to a cord now because I've been using wireless VR for so long. Yeah, I don't know. I've continually built up my setup. I just got the Haptics stuff like 4 or 5 months ago, and I'm loving that. Yeah, I'm just all about VR. I would say like 90% of my time using a computer these days is just on VR, using VR. Use it for exercise. And go ahead.
So on the accessory standpoint, because I think that's I love watching your stuff, and I think you'll have some good insight for people watching, because everyone is just, you get blasted with this accessory, that accessory, but you're using a lot of them. So for someone new to VR who, let's just say they've already got the headset, they've been playing for a while, and they want to step up their game, what's your top 3 recommendations for VR accessories for somebody?
Probably the first one is full body tracking. I'm a big proponent of that. A lot of people, are worried about it, because it only support, and I think Blade and Sorcery, VR Chat, a couple of others. But I use 2 of them for natural locomotion, which I think makes a better VR treadmill these days than actually paying a bunch of money for a real VR treadmill. Because you can like run, you can jump, and it. Do
you want to get into that very truth bomb video that you put out?
A lot of people were kind of upset about that, but I have tried the Omni, and I thought it was trash. You were sliding on the ground, and it doesn't feel like walking to me. And I think you can get a better locomotion walking in VR by just using trackers or even just your controllers. I just used to use them, the hand controllers of natural locomotion before I had trackers, and it works really good in my opinion. You can jog, run, jump.
So for people who may not have seen that tweet, what we're talking about is she made a very quick, right to the point, 30-second or so video on the Catwalk C, not specifically on that, but on the concept of VR slide mills and her thoughts on them. Where, and you quote me if I'm wrong here, but just not completely against them, but explaining that it is not similar to running or walking, and you're sliding, and the mechanics took you out of the immersion that you searching for.
I don't think that it's worth the price, and I don't think it's very immersive right now. I'm sure it'll get better. These things are, it's just very early tech. Just like I didn't get the first set of full body trackers, the Vive trackers. I ended up getting the 2.0s because I knew something better would come out eventually. So for people that are wondering if they should get it, I would recommend waiting at this point instead of dropping that much money in. It is a lot of money. I guess it might be useful if you don't have a lot of space. Like if you're very limited in your room, that might be a thing. It might be helpful, but I still think
it's
walking in place.
It's kind of like what the. I mean, I know you've built up your collection over time, but it is interesting, like the amount of money that we are all as early adopters willing to spend. Like I know you already mentioned one time that you some of your stuff was damaged, the cords, and I've seen some of your posts about taping things together. Like none of my equipment is flawless right now. They all have bumps and bruises, and I'm making them work. But we spend a considerable amount of money being okay with that because we want to chase that new adrenaline fix. So I get it in a way, but it's slide mills are. You got to be a special breed of person. What kind of person do you think you have to be to really dive into that and work through its kinks and accept that? Like, what mindset would you have to have?
I mean, if I had the money to drop on that, I'd be willing to try it. But because I didn't try the CAD, I tried the Omni, which I at an arcade. I think if you're just really, if you want like the Ready Player One experience, I guess, but I still think that just using trackers on your feet or hand controllers with natural locomotion is going to be a better experience because I like jumping. A lot of people. I was watching your Fireside Chat with Tech Manju, and I think you got into like the physicality of VR.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to be physical with VR. I think, like someone like me, I love running around, jumping, just getting active. Really
what are you
being
jumping
in the game.
Like what games are you jumping in?
I play Minecraft VR with the natural locomotion, and I have to jump up every single block, and it's a lot. I've gotten very tired. I think I can only play like maybe 2 hours at a time before I wiped out doing that.
I've never thought about it. I can't think of any time I've ever needed to jump in a game, but that might be on me. I could picture, like, if I had a lot of room, I could totally see myself playing like Blade and Sorcery and doing like a lunge jump with the spear or something. That would be amazing.
Oh yeah.
But
I think I've done that. I love jumping in that game too. I do like kicks.
I think that is an underrated thing. Like I watched the one where you were a Jedi kicking people, or a Sith. You were a Sith. You were definitely a Sith kicking people. And I have never played that game with full body tracking, and the kicks, like I never thought, I have never watched it or cared to look how that worked. But when you do look at it, it's something else. It's really something else, like value added, just by watching it, because I'm so used to watching people just swing their arms and use the controller, but to see someone physically kick Sparta 300 style down a pit in their room and that translate on screen is kind of beautiful to watch. It really was.
Fun. I think I was watching Chris Quits Reality. He had just done a Blade and Sorcery one where he was doing like crazy moves. He like jumped off a wall or something while doing it. It was nuts.
So we've got the Vive full body tracking is number one. What would be the second best accessory for someone to look into?
If they don't have index controllers and they have a compatible headset, I would say get these, but I think there's only a few. Second, probably if wireless VR, if that's ever an accessory for anything, I would say get that. That's an important one. I want to say the Haptics, but I think there's a very like specific audience for the Haptics products. I love my vest, and I use it all the time. But I think that for the average person using VR today, which they probably only use VR like at night or on the weekends or something, it's pretty expensive for what it does. I think it adds immersion, but I don't know if like everyone is going to be happy with it, because it doesn't feel like real touching or like real bullet wounds or something. Like it adds something there, but I use it because I'm a content creator. You're a content creator, so you can use it to like for your audience, or someone that's very very into VR. I think that it's worth it for them. But for most people, I don't know if they would be super happy with the Haptics.
Yeah,
I still love it, but.
I get what you're saying. It's specific use case, and it also, just like all your accessories and really all accessories in general, it requires a certain mindset. You have to be open, and I find it encouraging. I think VR, if anything, forces everybody to use their imagination a lot more. And if you're willing to use your imagination and willing to accept what you're doing, it's beautiful at that point. But yeah, I completely understand how at times it is not a value add, but that's also going to come down to how games are utilizing it and how developers in the future start incorporating more. Right now, it's all, most of the time it's, to my knowledge, like I talk with Alex VR a lot. I know he's a rep for Haptics. It comes down to people asking for it and then him bugging developers to put it in. But once it's used natively, I think it'll be pretty useful, especially
absolutely.
Out of all the accessories I have, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. It is the most easiest one that I have to set up.
I love how easy it is. Just turn it on. You don't have to mess with any Bluetooth settings or anything. Yeah, it's great. I still want support for, I don't know if you played Into the Radius. I've been playing that a lot.
I've seen your video, but I haven't. Hit that subscribe button to stay on top of the daily clips, or catch the debates and Fireside Chats live on the main channel down in the video description. See you next time, Space Cowboys.